Good evening, Calahan. Please, sit.
Not sure exactly what this is about, but I'm sure we can straighten it out.
There's no need to be defensive. We're not in a courtroom. There are no tribunals here, no lawyers, no grand trials. This is simply a workspace. It's a quiet room. Make sure our books are neat, tidy, and complete.
Of course.
You must be dehydrated after your transit. Please take a sip of the drink in front of you. Yeah.
Very thoughtful.
Of course, we here at the Ministry of Truth are nothing if not thoughtful. Is that not what we're known for?
Of course it is.
I will be frank with you, Calahan. I am the only friend you have in this building right now, and I have no interest in hurting you as long as we get our paperwork settled. Do you believe me?
I'm certainly happy to help you get everything straightened out.
I've been going over your division files here at Minitrue. We found some slight omissions in your sector registry, simple bookkeeping points, really. First here, your mother, her name is Barb, is it not? Yes, Mama Barb, as you so affectionately call her.
Yes.
We just need to confirm her current registry address and her connection to your brother. Is it Thomas? Thomas,
yeah. And he rattles off the might or might not know the address offhand, but I'm sure he knows the equivalent of phone numbers.
Good. My superiors simply hate blank spaces. All right, with that done, Calahan, we need to account for your time. Do you know why you're here?
To sort out what sounds like perhaps a paperwork error.
The human mind is a fascinating machine, Calahan. But when it's unaligned, it stutters. Would you say that you had a routine, compliant afternoon at your desk today?
Well, certainly don't make a habit of being punched in the nose and then
Yes, dreadful that. It is troubling seeing how minds are warped with a misunderstanding of the truth. Is it not?
yes, that's my job to make sure that that narratives land the way they're supposed to, and all clear
Yes.
and well understood.
Yes, it is important that we are clear on what is true and what is not, on what exists and what does not. Isn't that right?
That is my understanding.
And we trust you to help us with this. You are one of the chosen here in the conglomerate, one of the favored. That comes with additional responsibility, does it not?
I choose to believe I've worked very hard to get where I am, but
Yes, and the beneficence of the conglomerate smiles upon you because of your hard work and also because of our generosity. You are grateful for that generosity?
of course, I would hope everyone is.
So you will willingly submit to a calibration assessment to ensure you are functioning optimally.
Um, do I know what that means?
No.
I'm certainly willing to help straighten out any miscommunications and make sure everything is going as smoothly as possible.
I would like for you to prove your memory's accuracy. Recount your day for me, but start from the moment my reclamation assistants placed a transit device over your head. Walk me backwards, step by step, 10 minutes at a time. Tell me about the citizen who was executed at your door. Tell me about the blood on your files. Tell me about the words you screamed in your office. Tell me how you edited the census figures from 10 supervisors down to 9. Go backwards, Calahan. If your memory is true, the sequence should flow without friction.
And he starts rattling off as specifically as he's able. It's only been a day for him. It's been a little bit longer for us.
Do you feel that in this moment, Calahan would need to take a value test, a personal value test of any sort?
I don't think yet. I mean, so far, this feels a little more tense than most employee reviews, but that's sort of how he's thinking of it.
Okay. When that completes, do you have anything else to report? And this is going to be a conglomerate unity test.
Okay. So conglomerate unity is a bad, which means I need to roll under fear or anger, and I rolled exactly the same as fear or anger.
You rolled exactly the same.
Yeah.
I would need you to pick which one it is, fear or anger, in part because the question does arise of whether or not you have memory that would allow you to change the number so that you succeed. Reminding you here that happy memories allow you to move the number in one direction, and traumatic ones allow you to move them in the other. A happy memory decreases an emotion by 1 point. A traumatic memory increases an emotion by 1 point. So you'd have to have it related to the emotion that you're rolling against.
At the moment, as far as those go, Calahan has no weighted memories one way or the other. He's used what he has. Not yet.
How much love does Calahan have?
3.
You, above table, have 3 choices. With this failure, Calahan will be vaporized, all trace of his existence removed from all records by people like Calahan. It will become a thought crime to say his name or to refer to him ever having existed. Calahan Waters will be no more. Option 2, Calahan can sell someone out. A resistance character, a trusted character. yours or someone else's, and take an injury and turn this failure into a success. 3 is you can spend a love point to not have to sell anyone out. You still take an injury, and you can turn it into a success. What would you like to do?
And takes a takes a breath, gets himself focused a little bit. Conglomerate unity, loyalty is something that he is used to dealing with and measuring and calibrating on a regular basis. He's going to spend a hope to use navigate conglomerate ideals, which as a conglomerate official makes that failure not have happened, basically.
Okay, so this one is erased by that. You canceled the test.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. You know what? Actually, I know, as deeply vetted as you are, and we here at the Conglomerate don't make mistakes. You agree?
I certainly hope so.
Well, I understand then that you would have reported anything you needed to prior to this informal meeting we're having, if there were anything else to report. So we can skip this part. You're an ambitious man, Waters. There's nothing wrong with that. We're all hungry to serve the conglomerate as fully as we can. Tell me, is that ambition in your quieter moments, and you should be honest with me, we are watching you. We are monitoring your pulse. We're monitoring the sweat on your skin, the micro expressions on your face, the mildest adjustments in your pupil dilations, the directions that you're looking, are all being scrutinized by our AI system and by a team of analysts. Because you're that important, Calahan, and this conversation is that important. So do not lie to me. I say this as your only friend here. It will not do you any favors. And do not lie to yourself. Are there moments where you care more for what happens to you than what happens to the conglomerate? And I need a selflessness test, please.
Of despair or apathy. Okay. Going for apathy. And that is a success. 2 squared over 2.
Okay. What are you bumping up?
I think in this moment, much as he's trying to shake it off, I think fear is going up just a little bit more.
Okay. To what?
5 minus 1.
Okay. What do you say as you pass this test?
I think he would have the words. I am not finding them in the moment, but he doesn't tend to put himself first. I mean, he won't even stand up to somebody who's just punched him in the nose or held a blade to his throat, because his drive to go along to get along is stronger than self-preservation. So self-centeredness is not really his particular sin.
That's what we like about you, Calahan. You're so malleable. You can fit into whatever we need to fit you into, no matter how tight a squeeze. We squeeze you out of yourself until nothing is left and fill you up with us. And it's such a good fit. How many people provided results in your recent report? How many endorsements came in?
9 out of 9, I believe. I was still waiting for confirmation from the remaining district, I think.
And that you're sure it's 9 out of 9? Because you see, I'm asking because, again, finicky paperwork, right? Apologies, but we do want to get it right. And if you adjusted things to make the conglomerate look better by making it 9 out of 9 instead of 9 out of 10, well, that would show initiative, the kind of initiative that might warrant special commendation. But see, that would also indicate that the conglomerate made a mistake. And that would be troubling. Who wants to live in a world where the conglomerate made a mistake? You see, if the conglomerate didn't make a mistake and it was always 9 out of 9, no special commendation. But we live in a world where everything makes sense. The conglomerate is always right. The conglomerate above all. So tell me, Calahan, how many were there?
Been a few days, but as I recall, 9 out of 9, waiting for confirmed data from the 10th. But it has been a few days, so I don't have it in front of me.
This is good thing. So you're going to need to roll that and let me know where that lands.
Or sad. That is a fail.
You'll be able to take a second injury, spending a second love point, bring you down to 1 total if you don't want to sell anyone out, or if you want a little more margin of error for the next time you're brought in for an informal discussion, you could sell someone out take an injury and save your skin. Or, of course, you could cease to exist and all trace of your existence be erased from history, making it impossible for anyone who has ever known or loved you to admit you ever were.
I completely understand the importance of getting the narrative right and making sure all the details fit. That's my purpose. You're if you're looking for carelessness in my department, well, might speak to Barbara, but I think everyone else I work with is
Barbara. Okay, we are getting somewhere here. Thank you for that. You say Barbara is responsible for the carelessness in your department.
well, I wouldn't quite put it like that, but
Oh, don't be so modest, Calahan. You said what you said, and we heard loud and clear. Barbara is the source of the issues in your department. That clears things up very well. We knew that you were not a Eurasian spy, as you were accused of being that horrible man who accosted you in your place of work will not darken your door again. And we will ensure that you are secure. We are assigning to you a surveillance unit to ensure your safety. Of course, not surveilling you. They'll be there to surveil your surroundings. They don't have the same clearance level as you see, so you're going to have to keep your work safe. Ensure they don't see that work. You understand the importance of that. We are trusting you.
I believe so.
The two injuries that you take, Calahan, are both. One is minor, and it is just a bit of nerve pain in your lower back. The seat that you're in, you realize you must have been in for longer than you thought. It is not doing you any favors, and you will need to get that looked at. The other is a pain in your chest that feels like it is being stepped on. You are not having a heart attack right now, but it is a major injury that you need to get looked at when you can. You are taking stress for each of these. That stress cannot be reduced by winding down, only by medical attention. Each injury has to be addressed separately. For medical attention, you're a conglomerate official. You have the insurance for both of these, if you'd like. Calahan, you are everything I hoped you would be. It is so good to see you succeed. I want to see you succeed more. You will be rewarded for your good sense, your freedom from the inhibitions that lead so many astray, causing them to put their allegiances to each other ahead of their allegiance to the conglomerate. Even though, what good is that? Who takes care of their toe at the expense of their heart? Conglomerate above all. Conglomerate above all.
Conglomerate above all, of course.
Faster next time. Well, this has been nice. I'll see you next time. And just packs up their stuff, walks out the door, leaves the door open, and you're alone. You're able to take one hope and one trust for surviving this interrogation. Your stress coming in was?
My stress coming in was 2.
So now you are at stress 4. 2 of those stresses are permanent until you have those injuries attended to. Every day that goes by where those injuries are not attended to, they gain 1 tick. If you go 4 days in game without attending to the stress, it goes up to the next level. So the minor will go to major, the major will go to critical. You do not want to let a critical fester. There are other ways to die in this game that are not just vaporization. What do you do sitting in that room by yourself as they walk out?
Mostly tremble. Then eventually he stands up and he walks out and tries to stay calm, tries to stay focused. This sort of thing is not supposed to happen to people like me.
And that completes your interrogation. Before we begin a new day, I will step out of Big Brother and we will briefly retreat from within the magic circle to find ourselves setting up for a new day. Before we go further, although there were content notices already on this video, and clearly from what you all saw who are here watching this right now, they were worth heeding in written form. I do want to mention that this is a difficult story that we're telling together. It is a difficult story that we seek to infuse with hope in any way that we can. It reflects the authoritarian reality of too many parts of our real world. It is inspired by 1984 and a number of other landmark pieces of dystopian fiction that themselves reflect the authoritarian nightmares that too often persist in our real world. This game, Oceania 2084, written by Ewan Eriksson, who is himself an anarchist activist in Sweden, is a cry against that authoritarianism. There is no GM in this game. That is not what I'm here to do. I play Big Brother, which is a different kind of player at the table, and I play a different game than everyone else plays. I have my areas of narrative control, and they have theirs. They are resistance players, and they have a lot more control at the level of narrative. They create much more of the world. They have much more agency than a lot of players and a lot of systems do at the level of the system design. This is fundamentally a game about who gets to tell what story, who gets to establish what's true. That's fundamentally what we're competing over here. Myself as Big Brother and the resistance characters as everyone else. Before we dig into it, and before I share a little bit of table setting information, that will lead us into the day that we find our characters in. I would like for my friends to introduce themselves. I think it's only fitting that we start with you, Steve, as we did just get to meet Calahan in a vulnerable moment, and then we will go to you, Fish, before you toss it back to me. Steve, go ahead.
I'm Steve, Tall Halfling on the socials, sometimes Tall Halfling RPG, playing Calahan Waters.
I'm Fish. You can find me as Fishfinlee all over the interwebs. I sing, I drive, play games. It's a fun time. And I'm at fishfinlee.card.co. Literally everywhere, I am Fishfinlee, so go find me. I'm playing 7, a surveillance unit that I think just got their new assignment.
I neglected to include one piece, also at card.co, tallhalfling.card.co. Don't forget the second R is for resistance.
And I am Danny Mendoza, he, him, Danny R Mendoza, everywhere internet things are found. So if you just put Danny, the letter R, Mendoza into anything, I'm there. But Blue Sky is a good place to follow me for TTRPG updates. I'm also a member of the staff here at Streaming Rainbow. As a reminder with regard to that, if this isn't what you're in the right headspace for whenever you're going to watch this, that's okay. We have lots of other shows here. These fine folks have lots of other things that they do. And if you just need to step away for a little bit and come back, you're welcome to do that. We take safety very seriously here. We take a lot of steps on our end of things to ensure that everybody is able to engage in this sort of more complex storytelling safely. And that should extend to you all. So please take care of yourselves. Remember that rest is resistance, and that we care more about you and each other than about the stories that we're telling or the game that we're playing. And the reason that we're telling this story and playing this game is because we care for each other and we want a better tomorrow, an actual better tomorrow together. We hope that in telling these stories, we find ways to rehearse transgression, figure out what it is that we can do in our day-to-day lives to push against the real horrors that we face, and do whatever little part each of us can to help make this world a better place. With that said, we are going to need to go over a couple of basic things here for the game. One is that there are banned words. As I am the Big Brother player, these are all rules for thee and not for me. The asymmetry is a feature of this, as is the contradiction. So in reality, you can't say these words and I can. Share, band, support, for, both the digit 4 and the word FOUR, the name Jax, the name Oleana, the name Randy, and the name Kadir. I am generally speaking asking players moving forward to try to give their characters first and last names for the trusted ones as well. Not every Oleana in the world is unable to be mentioned, just the Oleana who was vaporized, right? If there's ambiguity around who Oleana is when being referred to, that could be a thought crime. But otherwise, the thought crime itself is mentioning the person. The interesting case of 4 is that the 4 name is both a digit and the word. So when mentioning the digit, we are treating that as a thought crime as well. One other thing worth mentioning is the city atmosphere. It does not have to include all of these things, but the way that we have approached this West Marches campaign, these are all possible dimensions of how you experience the same city. Violent, pungent, scared. Ecological, spacious, paranoid. Silent, empty, solemn. Grandiose, commercial, private. With that said, we enter the morning phase, and I do begin it, before I pass over narrative reins to you, with a message, not a morning news. That's yet to come. A message that you both receive on your devices. It was clearly pushed out as a push notification to everyone in Sector 4. Attention, citizens of Sector 4. Minitrue is overjoyed to announce the swift promotion of our distinguished line editor, Calahan Waters. Calahan is already a first among equals, a conglomerate official par excellence. Thanks to his vigilance and selfless cooperation, an insidious cell of Eurasian saboteurs hiding in our municipal landscape departments and in our office complexes has been completely liquidated. Citizen Waters has shown us that true safety is found in absolute, transparent compliance with the wisdom and will of the conglomerate. Consensus at scale has been restored. Conglomerate above all. Now the narrative reins are yours.
I do have a quick question before we jump immediately into it. Because of the format of this game, because we are doing a West Marches style, because it has been technically a couple of days since 7 received their minor injury from their interrogation, has that escalated, or would I have been given the opportunity for 7 to pursue getting that dealt with?
7 would need to deal with it in game. What I will do is I won't count those ticks against 7. Meaning your days in play are mechanic, because it's a mechanical thing above table. Your days in play are what count on those ticks.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this will be your first if you don't get it looked at today toward the escalation.
On that subject?
Yeah.
So Calahan turned in Barbara to pass one thing, and he used navigate to pass the other. I know turning in Barbara comes with an injury. I just want to verify that
they both come with injuries. You have a major and a minor because you used a love point. Sorry, excuse me. I might have misdone this in my head. I thought you had to use a love point and Barbara to get through 2 failed tests, aside from the use of navigate. Am I wrong about that?
I passed one test, used navigate on one.
Great.
Then Barbara on one.
Then you just actually have the major injury. What I mentioned about the minor injury and the lower back nerve pain isn't, I mean, you could have had it, but it's not an injury. So you actually only have to take 1. You're at 3, not 4 stress. That major injury, the one that felt like it might be indicating you could have a heart attack at some point, is the one that you need to get looked at. It is a major injury, mechanically speaking. And that did come from selling out Barbara.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we were on the same page there.
No, I don't know how I mixed that in my head, but thank you for the clarification. This is a couple of days now after your interrogation. And in the interim, there has been a new figure who has arisen in the official mythos of the conglomerate, David Rossi, who came out of a 2-minute hate the day after your interrogation by attacking his coworker in the middle of it, a coworker who was the subject of that 2-minute hate, and was lauded by Big Brother for it in the second 2-minute hate of the day, at the climax of which that coworker who he attacked was executed. while David Rossi watched. The day after that was declared by Big Brother to be David Rossi Day. And the 2-minute hate on both of those days were the same propaganda footage from a first-person perspective, think of it like a first-person shooter, of clearing out terrorists quite violently. But the first time it was shown, it was said to be East Asian terrorists. And the second time it was shown, it was said to be Eurasian terrorists. It was the same footage. A little bit changed out to indicate Eurasian symbology versus East Asian symbology, but they didn't even change who was being killed. And at the climax of it was shown David Rossi acting in a violent frenzy to kill as many of them as possible. Felt like an action movie. Cleanly rendered. This is not either of those days. This is the third day after that. Yes.
Above table question, because fish has the memory of a goldfish. Eurasia is bad now.
At
right?
the moment.
At the right this moment as we're hopping into the day, the news has said Eurasia bad.
As far as you know, yeah.
Okay.
As far as you know.
Fish has the memory of a goldfish. I just need to make sure that I heard that right.
Yes. It's easy to confuse, especially given the interrogation that just took place that was a couple of days ago. Eurasia is the current... Eurasia has always been the enemy of the conglomerate.
Eurasia has always been the enemy. Fish needed the... Cool. Awesome. Forbidden words are not allowed. 7. 7. I think experiences the news broadcast louder than usual. It's their circuitry is glitching, and so the way they are feeling the imposition of the conglomerate is just more. It's like when the volume slider in your car gets accidentally turned up to max and then you can't turn it down. Like it's doing what it's supposed to do, but it's doing it too much. And 7 is currently trying to almost mentally push out that wave of sound, that wave of imposing news, and is going to attempt to get their shenanigans treated today.
Okay. So you're going to go somewhere to go to a medical facility, and then you are going to take the action of receiving medical treatment for that. Is that accurate?
I would think it's more of a mechanical engineering facility than a medical facility, given that the problem is in their circuitry rather than their personhood.
Sure.
But yes.
Okay. Perfect. Your insurance as a bureaucrat level 2 covers it the same either way. What's your stress level right now?
My stress level is a 3.
So I need 2 D6s, please. 1 for go somewhere and 1 for getting the medical treatment.
A 5, and then the number that's under 5.
Okay. You have up to 1 more act in the morning if you'd like. What I mentioned before was not the morning news before you take a third act. The morning news does kick up, and it is an extension of what was said yesterday, establishing David Rossi Day. Here, there is a conglomerate official who is standing in front of a massive portrait of David Rossi's face, pulled from the 2-minute hate, where he watched the execution of the person who he attacked during the prior one. And they say, friends, fellow citizens, assets of the Conglomerate, we are here to celebrate today. But we are not simply celebrating David Rossi, because we do not live in yesterday. We seek to bring tomorrow to today. And so we're here to celebrate you, citizens. This is Citizen Day. That's right. All day there will be free of charge for your benefit. Big Brother AI drones flying around everywhere, finding their way into your homes as a happy surprise, finding their way into your workplaces as an opportunity to show those who fulfill other roles in our grand machine what it is you do and how it is you do it. Today is a day of transparency, a day that marks a new frontier in how much we as a family will share with one another. Can't wait for everyone to see what you have to show. And that is the morning news.
Seven is sitting there, getting their circuitry worked on. Hold on, what were my two acts? They were
go somewhere and then an undefined act to get your stress taken off by getting rid of that injury. So you get that injury taken care of. You're able to take off one stress for doing that in relation to your injury note. You remove the injury note. And that is, those are your two acts. And then your third one is, if you want to take a third one, up to you.
Yeah. So Seven kind of sits there getting their circuitry worked on and adjusted and tweaked so that it is no longer malfunctioning, so it is no longer glitching out. And the news plays. And it's kind of the relief that someone gets when they put in like loop earplugs of you're getting to experience this thing that you expect to experience. However, it's gone from overstimulating to perfectly normal levels of stimulating. And so as they're sitting there, as the news blares, it like pulls the volume down to a level. And I think this is, in this moment, Seven will wind down in the sigh of relief of finally getting the volume down.
Okay. As you wind down, you can remove another stress, and that is the end of your morning. Calahan.
I think interspersed with the shots of Seven getting treatment, I think we see similar shots of Calahan getting looked at. I mean, that's a Conglomerate official. Medical attention is, I believe, pretty much routine to access. So I guess my only question is, is whether chest pains and potential heart attack are something that are quick and easy to treat in this world, or if it is like unto ours.
With the right insurance, which you have, you can get astonishing medical treatment. You could be fine today. You just need to go get seen. And maintain your access to that in case it comes back.
Yeah, so going somewhere undefined to receive treatment.
I need stress rolls for both of
Mhm.
those at your current stress level.
Okay, that's not gonna. Oh, that's a 5
Would
and
I
a
have had
3.
to roll a stress roll for the wind down?
Yes, you did before you brought it down by 1. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, you're able to. Thank you very much. You're able to remove that injury note and get rid of that stress by getting that treatment. If there's anything you want to say or explore about either those things, we can. Otherwise, you have up to 1 more act in the morning phase before you enter work. But you don't have to take it. It's an opportunity.
Yeah. Just that in I think we've had 4 sessions now. This is the first moment when I find myself envying somebody in this this world, because dealing with stuff like cardiology is not just quick and easy for some of us. But yeah, so I think having had that scare, definitely going to take that the third action to wind down. Give himself a some
What did
attempt
you
at calm.
What did you roll on the stress for that?
That is a 9.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to lower your stress by 1 more, and that is the end of your mornings. You both enter the work phase. The floor is yours.
7 wraps up where they're at and adjusts themselves as they feel the kind of blitting of their circuitry notifying them of their day's assignment. It's very where they're needed, they're assigned. It's not consistent from day to day, as has been seen in the past couple of sessions. Every single day is a new assignment for these surveillance units, and it kind of depends on what their main purpose is. But for 7, it's just wherever they are necessary. And in this case, they are being assigned to look after, so to speak, a conglomerate official, a conglomerate officer that they have surveilled in the past. And so they know where to go, and they head straight to Calahan's place of work.
Okay, so that is going to be in terms of
Go
mechanics, or just go somewhere.
That will be a go somewhere. Yeah, just go somewhere.
Where are you on stress right now?
I'm at 1.
Great, so you don't have to roll anything. You just show up there. Keep in mind the shared narrative rights that you have as a bureaucrat with Calahan as a conglomerate official, and your workplace and Calahan's workplace. Just in good faith, everybody's going to be defining their own stuff, and you'll be defining things together. Keep in mind there's no prole at the table, so anything that would typically be defined by a prole is me. So you can also ping pong as much as you want. So even if you want to see if you want to use any of your work stuff, you don't have to do it in a row right now. If you want, we can go to Calahan, check in on Calahan, and y'all can go back and forth.
I figured that it would be 7 heading to work, and then where's Calahan for the meetup kind of bit of it. So
sounds great if it works for Steve. Steve?
Yeah. I think between that he is desperately trying to call it a performance review in his head, and the whole bit about the drones. I think Calahan is keeping his head down, doing exactly what he's assigned to do, and no more and no less, and dotting every I and crossing every T. If there was not a another resistance character involved, I would say he goes ahead and just works. But if left to himself, that is going to be his plan. But I don't want to rob Fish of.
So mechanically speaking, I will say you can absolutely do that. It doesn't necessarily rob anybody of anything. This is Danny above table clarification on the mechanics. You two can talk to each other in the course of doing work, and as long as it's about work, that's part of working, right? Work just keeps you from being able to do other acts in the phase, right? It's the last act that you would do in this phase is you start working, but you're fully able to do that. Where's your stress at now for Calahan?
1.
Okay, so you don't have to roll anything. You'd take a go somewhere, and then you would also then take a work action. Those would be the 2 that you do for this work period. What I will say is before you are able to meet up with the surveillance unit that will be accompanying you now for your safety, you receive a message in your heads-up display that tells you it's a report, right, that then goes into your files, but you see an abstract for it, essentially, hit your display. And the abstract, in summation, lets you know that there have been a concerning set of upticks in certain sectors of conspiracy theories about the existence of thought police and the existence of alleged interrogations in, of all places, the Ministry of Love. And that these interrogations allegedly included forms of psychological torture and physical torture. And clearly, this is Eurasian propaganda meant to destabilize the good work of the Conglomerate, and especially the work of Mini Love. For you to work on this as a part of your new responsibilities, now all the more trusted than ever as a Conglomerate official in good standing. And watch out in your day-to-day engagement with others for any possibilities of those rumors having infected their minds with the virus of this mimetic abomination. If you see any indications of that or sense any in yourself, you are to report that immediately. Not doing so would be treason. Then you can decide to go to work or anything else that you'd like to do. As you do see, if I understood you correctly, Fish, because it's not up to me, up to you, you would arrive and see 7 there.
Yes. 7 knows where your office is, and given that they have been specifically stationed to supervise you, they are, or like, supervise isn't the word I'm looking for, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna place themselves specifically outside the door to your office until you show up, at which point they will follow you inside.
Mm-hmm. The guidance that I think would align, if this helps, because I don't want to overstep in terms of narrative control, right? But since you're responding to what happened in the interrogation, the guidance would be that was intended there would be for you to surveil the surroundings of this person for their safety without engaging in any of their anything that they work on that has a higher clearance level than you. There is a sub routine that you would receive that would state that you are to watch Calahan Waters for any signs of disloyalty or treason.
Okay. In that case, 7 will station themselves outside the door to your office until you go in. At which point they will they will follow you inside. so that they can and stand near the door so that they can hear whatever's going on at your desk, but they will be looking outside and taking notes visibly about what's going on through like whatever window there is in the doorway. Basically acting as kind of like a doorman. And then if there's nothing else to prompt any other action, then it'll just be work, because that's all that 7 is going to be inclined to do.
One thing I do think happens along the way, because it did not happen the other day, is that the Calahan picks up on the 7 does audio surveillance thing that he completely missed the other day because he was just in his feels.
I will say, you do notice that Barbara is not around. You didn't see any sign of Barbara as you came in. There is no indication, if you look through your files, that anyone named Barbara has ever worked in your division.
Are you looking for something?
Just getting caught up on some personnel matters.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
7 is just gonna try to focus on work, and they don't want to get pulled in again.
And Calahan?
Yeah, he is keeping his head down. Trying very hard not to glance over at the personnel records for the department. Just going through the motions.
So you both work.
Correct.
Yeah.
And neither of you has any stress that needs to roll against that?
Nope.
Okay. So we enter 2-minute hate. Mechanically speaking, both of you are going to need to... Sorry, letting it catch up. Mechanically speaking, both of you are going to need to roll Conglomerate Unity tests. What you see is the same Conglomerate official from the morning news, standing next to Big Brother. Big Brother looming large next to them and saying, "Friends, we have wonderful news that our dear Big Brother here has allowed me to join him in sharing with you. Already, the incredible amount of transparency that you all have embraced today has yielded incredible results. All of you should be proud to see that we have rooted out, in the first few hours of today, a significant number of people who don't have your best interest at heart. People who seek to harm you, people who want to mislead you, people who want to muddy up your sense of what's real. We're going to protect you from that. We're going to make sure that you have freedom from the burden of choice. We're going to protect you. Because sunlight is the greatest disinfectant. And we are here to disinfect that which infects the body of the conglomerate. You see here, and the stage opens in front of them, and rising dramatically out from underneath the stage are 3 beaten, bloodied, and bruised people. You can tell from what they're wearing that they are each of a different station. There is a conglomerate official in there, clothes disheveled but clearly luxurious. There is a functionary, a bureaucrat, likely a clerk, incredibly forgettable, very comfortable but not high quality clothing on, torn a bit more, bloodied. And a prole. If they weren't in rags when they started, they were treated in a fashion that turned their clothing into that. They have lumps on their face. They have blood streaked across them that no one bothered to clean up. They are still bleeding from various places. All 3 breathe heavily. You see, it could be anyone. It can be anywhere. And this is why our push for more transparency matters, because we love you and we need you to know that you're safe under our watchful eye, because we know everything. We see all of you for exactly who and how you are. We know you better than you know you. We know what you want and need, what you think before you think it. And now we need you to do what we know you will do and tell these traitors exactly what you think of them and what you, the great people of the conglomerate, the body of this nation that we seek to protect, what you want us to do to them. What are the outcomes of your rolls?
I rolled against fear, which is good, so I had to roll over it. My stat is at the forbidden number, and I rolled a 2. So I fail, and I'm going to push anger down by 1 to the forbidden number, and my fear outburst is going to be tremors.
Okay.
Seven starts shaking as they're standing there, just quaking in their boots.
Okay. Calahan.
We both rolled the same stat, and we both would have succeeded if we had rolled each other's rolls. Which is to say that I needed to roll under and did not.
Do you take stress to succeed or do you fail?
I think I take the fail. Yeah.
So, what is your outburst going to be? Your emotional outburst, which needs to be connected to that emotion. They're the same options that Fish would have been able to take. Which, given this is fear, to let you know, it's scream out. You scream out in fear. Tremors, you begin shaking, making fine movement impossible. The effect lasts for the current scene. Or crying, you start crying loudly, will be heard by nearby beings.
Well, I mean, he was trembling to begin with, so I think, yeah, I think that kind of escalates a bit.
Okay. Which emotion do you lower by 1? It can be any of them.
Well, it has to be anger or apathy, right?
No.
It can be any of them?
Yeah. When you fail and you lower it, it's any emotion, not just the shadow.
Oh!
You can retcon the last thing
That
if you want to do a different one.
No, that I'll keep my choice. That
Okay.
makes sense for what I'm choosing, so.
Okay.
But good to know.
Yeah. Sorry I didn't make that clear.
No, you're totally good.
Think I'm going to go ahead and lower guilt. Although,
I was gonna say that's a bold choice.
It is hard to character-wise rationalize lowering any of these in the current moment.
Actually, I would like to retcon my decision. I am lowering apathy instead.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
I just think 7 is allowing themselves to feel this, whether or not I mean, I guess they're not allowing them. They are feeling this, and that is inherently a contradiction to their apathy.
I do think allowing is actually a pretty good way to say that, in the sense of what is happening in a values test, like what are we actually doing, is how, if you succeed at a values test, you are succeeding at suppressing emotion. If you fail, you have an emotional outburst. So, functionally speaking, 7 did allow.
I just say is I don't think it's them allowing themselves to feel it so much as the feeling's gonna happen, because that's how feelings work. And 7 is kind of the conduit through which it's being expressed. And that inherently feeling path is the opposite of a path. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think I agree with Fish. I just want to note, as a through line for Calahan's plot arc, he started out at 5 apathy. It's been slowly marching down the line, and it is going to hit 1 and reset to 3.
Interesting. I do want to take a moment here, because this is the very first time you mentioned that this is session 4, but understand that 3 of those sessions have had 2 tables. So realistically, this is actually the 7th game in our campaign, not counting the siloed stuff. Counting the siloed stuff, this is the 10th game in our campaign, filmed to date. And this is the first time anyone has lowered a number to 1 and triggered a happy memory. Now,
I got so many traumatic memories last time, which is wild. So
I do have an above table reason for that, by the way, but we can talk about that during the D-roll if you all want to.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense above table.
Yeah, but what is the happy memory that you have associated with apathy? You said apathy hit 1 now?
Apathy hit 1, yeah.
So, what is the happy memory you have associated with apathy that you are adding to your sheet as you reset your apathy to 3?
Okay, and a happy memory mechanically then lowers that emotion. Okay, I want to stipulate that this is in the past. I am not introducing I am not introducing something in the present, but he's remembering. He's remembering his first family pet. Again, in the past, does not exist currently, is not subject to whatever Big Brother might want to do to a pet. But the memory is in there.
Like the closest we can get to giving a pet plot armor is going, it doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, this is also, Steve wanting to honor the idea without violating my own lines and veils about harm to domestic animals.
All right. So what is it that? Yeah.
Basically, discovering the ability to care deeply about someone who's not even human. That bond, I think, is what he's thinking about.
All right. Go ahead and put that on your sheet, and it will be there when you need it. Now, that brings us to the end of this first work period. We are now in lunch. You each have up to 3 acts if you'd like. I will remind you that social acts are not a thought crime during leisure time, which is morning, lunch, and leisure time. Are thought crimes during the first and second work period. You're not in a work period right now. You're at lunch. What would you each like to do?
Seven will kind of rotate their shoulders, take a deep breath as 2 minutes hate kind of wraps up, and turns to face Calahan and asks, "Would you like to grab a bite?"
There's a long pause, and he just kind of quietly nods, and it's mostly a mechanical, mechanically working, mechanically going and get lunch because it's lunchtime. The one thing that kind of shakes him out of that for a moment, how would he say this? I think basically what he says is, I hope I didn't disturb you the other day. Didn't upset you.
Not at all. It's my job to just be here and witness the truth Seven seems very careful with their word choice.
There is a
Very
long moment
deliberate in the way that they.
There's a long moment of eye contact, especially on that word truth. He doesn't say anything. Certainly isn't going to say anything out loud, but just I understand.
Both of you are going to need to take a value test right now.
Oh.
I think it's silence is violence. I thought about making it good thing, but I think it's silence is violence. So let's go with that.
Okay. I have to roll over anger or despair, both of which are at 5 right now. I think I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna do this with despair.
Yeah, despair makes a lot of sense.
I rolled a 5, which is the same as my stat currently, and I do not have a memory that can help me here.
Would you like to take a...
I do have a memory that can help me here. No, I don't have a memory that can help me here. I lied. I had the wrong kind of memory. It cannot help me here.
Would you like to take a stress to succeed?
Yeah, I would. I am going to take a stress to succeed.
Okay. Go ahead and bump up whatever, and let us know what you think you should bump up with that success, and increase your stress.
I am bumping up sadness to a 5.
Steve, what about Calahan?
I, much to my own surprise, I succeed. I roll under my despair. Roll a 2. Despair is 3.
Okay. So bump up what you need to bump up. Let us know what it is.
In this moment, I think sadness goes up.
Yeah.
I think narratively, we are making sustained eye contact as we are saying the words that we are saying, and I think you watch as Seven's eyes begin to kind of glaze over in that way that they do when fluid is building up, and then Seven closes their eyes, takes a deep breath, and reopens them, and the emotion has been suppressed.
Same. He knows how to keep things tamped down, but yeah, there's an awkward silence, and then lunch.
Yeah. I suppose whether or not it's a success is up to the whole table as a collective, but in a even though that we didn't talk very much, I would like to argue that was a bit of a deep connection of both of us being a little bit vulnerable to each other.
I'll say that my vote is that is how that landed. If you both want to do deep connection, that's fine. It takes one of your action economy from each of you. You can each take one hope, and I need you to roll stress on it if you have stress to roll.
And we have a total of 3 actions during lunch, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I would like to do that if that's something that
Yeah.
You can each also independently choose, right? Like you don't both have to. Like,
yeah, but I think there's something about
narratively it just
yeah. Well, And it does benefit you mechanically, because if you both do it, you
Mhm.
both get one hope, right? If not, whoever does it is the only one who gets one hope.
Yep.
Yeah, 100% you can do that. Do either of you need to roll stress right now on that?
I do. I need to roll a d10.
I do not.
rolled an 8.
Okay. Floor is yours. You've each used one of your 3. Although, reminder what I allowed before with the go somewhere. One of you can lead the other using go somewhere, but one of you does need to do that to get you where you are. I'm not going to make you both spend go somewhere to go to the same place. I will remind you, you have a conglomerate official here and a bureaucrat, level 2, but still.
Yep.
So if you want to go somewhere that is better for the conglomerate official to describe, looking at what you have narrative control over versus what you have shared narrative control over, or if you want to go somewhere that it's better that the bureaucrat describe, again, looking at the same breakdown because there's overlap, but there are distinctions. I would recommend you consider that when deciding who is going to go somewhere for this.
Sev opens your office door to kind of guide you out, but isn't going to lead you. They are going to follow you. They're just opening the door as like a bit of deference kind of deal.
Yeah. On a different day, he might go out to eat. I'm sure he's scoped out to the restaurants in the area, but I think this isn't about dining. This is just about food. So I think we head down to the building. Probably has some kind of a cafeteria. It's not very good. It's not we have previously discussed levels of food available in this society. Just because it's good stuff doesn't mean it's made well.
Nutrafood shawarma, my favorite.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I will say, again, this is a little bit of mechanics for those watching and for the table, since we are still in the first half of the campaign. If you go to the ration section at the bottom of page 3 of the handouts, you will see that trust level 4 does not have access to Lux food, but does have access to NutraFood. So with the decision to go with NutraFood, you are good. 7 would not be able to access Lux food unless there were some sort of action taken that would allow that to occur.
Yeah.
Or, could have it, and then I would know that.
I would assume in an office building like this, I mean, you've got your officials. You also have, the staff who work here, in the mailroom and whatever, who are not necessarily conglomerate officials. So they probably, that the cafeteria would have options, it seems to me.
Actually, I would like to take this opportunity to use my transfer ration credits class act to give myself extra credit so I can indulge in Lux food.
Okay.
For one-time use.
Can you read the description?
Yes. You describe how your resistance character gives someone can be yourself some extra ration credits. Write a paper slip with the words extra credit on it. This slip is a one-use item. It can be used to bribe someone, or it can be used to acquire something from the ration goods and services table on a trust level above your current trust level.
Perfect. All right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how much hope does that cost you?
It costs 1.
Okay.
So I'm kind of taking the moment of vulnerability and using that, and
yeah.
Like on a there's some thematic shenanigans happening here of I'm using this connection to give myself something nice.
Mm-hmm.
Seven will pull out this little piece of paper that says extra credit on it, and will say, do have permission to indulge today.
I'd like to offer with two different kinds of food at their disposal. Well, I think it's kind of a salad bar buffet kind of deal, and there is there's a that is the cup of the carpenter moment. It's all boring. It's all, but there is one thing that was actually made with some love, and Seven manages to find it, and Calahan does not.
Seven will take whatever food they have found and take a seat with you. And I think for my third act, I'm going to wind down and just kind of enjoy this moment of, hey, it's some nice food with a person who doesn't want to kill me right now, and that's great. We love that.
Perfect. So you will be able to do that and take another stress down from where you are. Calahan, anything else on your side?
Also, for the 2 stress rolls that I would have had to roll for that, it was a 3 and a 7.
Thank you.
So I'm currently at stress 1, so there's no particular need to go with wind down.
You can go down to level 0. Above table, you can bring your stress down to 0.
Yeah, 100%. And then that gives you a buffer if you're wondering what the point of that is. If you gain a stress, then you just go back up to 1.
Yeah. Totally valid if you don't want to. I learned that last time, so figured I would share.
Yeah. I'm sure this is generally designed to be used with along with like notice someone. But if we can allow it, I think there's an observed behavior. I mean, it's a cafeteria. There are people here, not like distinguishable individuals or anything. But
I'll before you continue, there are. I'll take a reaction. Technically, I'll take 60. There are 60 strangers around you.
Okay. Yeah. I'm assuming if I was using observed behavior focused on one person, I'd get like, some detailed insight, but he's people watching sounds a little too optimistic to my ear, but basically wondering how many of these people are in the same headspace I am.
Sure. The way that this game works, there's no resolution roll, right? Yeah. So observe behavior. Describe how your resistance character observes what a stranger that is already in the current location is doing. Observing a higher up is a thought crime, -1. You have narrative control over that. So within about 10 minutes of in-game time, what would Calahan observe among these strangers? I think it's fine the way that you put the parameters around that, in line with what he's looking for. Again, this is physical behavior based,
Yeah.
right? Calahan can interpret that, but that is what you are observing.
Yeah. I mean, this is a cafeteria, and there is no conversation whatsoever. And I think that's what he's picking up on.
All right. And I believe that is all
A
of
lot
your.
about how everybody's doing in here.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
quite a lot.
What there is the sound of are drones. There are 60 strangers in here alongside the two of you, including staff and things, in the area. And there are, I don't know, about a fourth as many drones, and not the largest space. Some of them are flying, some of them are crawling along the walls, some of them have perched themselves at the center of the tables. They're all watching.
I think I make eye contact with one of them, chilling on the table with us. And Seven's mind kind of wanders like in the direction of, how is this thing different from me?
Is there a value test in there somewhere?
I don't know that there is, because it's not necessarily like questioning it, like questioning any decisions that have been made for Seven, but it's like,
Well, even a personal value.
put
And
the
there
two of us
doesn't.
next to each other.
Yeah, there doesn't have to be, but the reason I'm asking, because it isn't
Mhm.
always, and this again mechanics above table, with personal values in particular, it isn't just about the what the conglomerate tells you need to think and feel. It's also about what you tell yourself you need to think and feel. So I think you're still
The
probably
closest
right.
that I could think of is like me before you, but I don't even know if that's
No, it's okay. I think you're right. I think there
Yeah.
isn't one there.
It
I just wanted to further
it's just
explain why I asked the question.
Yeah, no, of course. No, Seven's mind just kind of wanders as they're winding down, as they're they're letting their brain think rather than just process. They really start to question for themselves. Well, not really question, just for the first time ever, they've even hit the like, huh, button of this, of just, that thing exists to watch, process, and send information back to Big Brother. I exist to listen, process, and send information back to Big Brother. What's the difference between the two of us except that I have to eat? And I think that's the first time that even as a speculation, has entered Seven's mind.
Interesting. They look up at you, and their camera has a bit of an adjustment in it that is made to look and sound a little bit like an iris readjusting. You would have occasion to know, Seven, that's not a necessary thing to communicate, meaning it was designed in to be discernible. It could have happened without being discerned.
Yep.
Externally. And it moves almost as though it blinks there. Do you think of
Okay,
someone...
now I'm gonna make a good think values check that makes me think of the one who shan't be named.
There we are. Yeah.
I see how it is, Daddy. I'm gonna roll. I have to roll over sadness, which is currently at a 5. That was a 1. I am taking a stress.
Okay.
Whatever stress I just cleared is back again. To succeed, which is going to... I'm gonna push despair up by 1, which puts it at a 6, which gives me yet another traumatic memory. Wow. And I think it's like a flash of this kind of eye mechanic, and it hits way too close to home for Seven. That just makes them think of their sibling who is no longer present, and they have this moment where their mind kind of gets shunted back into the past, back when both the square root of 16 and them were like trainees, or like very very they were very new. They had just been kind of fitted with the equipment, and it snaps to this moment when they first met, when seven was very very kept to themselves, and they still are. They're still very 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 introspective is not the word, introverted. They're still very introverted, but the square root of 16 was so extroverted and so like loud, and basically like basically adopted Seven, even though Seven was the older of the two. And that's the memory that is now like colored in sadness and despair, and is now chilling in my table of dramatic memories.
All right. That is the end of lunch. What will you do for your second work phase?
Seven will get up. Will look to Calahan and say, "Well, we should return quickly." And we'll offer to take your like plates and dishes and stuff to the trash.
He just quietly nods. He watches you take. He watches you taking the trash and dealing with that, and the thought crosses his mind that that's the first kind thing anyone has voluntarily done for anybody else in this room the whole lunch hour. Doesn't say anything, just watching and thinking, and yeah, I doesn't make riveting viewing, but I think he's just going through the motions, doing the work. He's feeling like those drones too.
Is there an act in there for either or both of you?
One of us has to spend an act to go back to the office, and
Yes.
I think it makes more sense for Calahan to take that act than for Seven to take that act. But other than that, I think it's just work.
Okay. Same for Calahan?
Yeah, I think go somewhere, possibly a little bit more observed behavior along the way, and work.
Okay.
I rolled a 10 for the stress die for the work.
Thank you. If that observed behavior is happening, I will say the 60, roughly 60 people are moving back toward work also. You could observe any of them. And the, yes, you can establish whatever you want at the level of the narrative with regard to that. Remind me of your stress level. I'm sorry.
1.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to roll anything on any of that. So you lead everybody back, go back to work. And that is that until we hit 2-minute hate. 1 second here. You do notice that in an adjacent workstation outside of your private area, but nearby, where Barbara used to work, there is someone new named Valerie. You saw the nameplate as you passed. And Valerie sees you as well and nods. With that, sorry, is there anything to that?
No, I was trying to decide if there's any conversation, but I don't think so.
Okay. Valerie does also look briefly over at Yusuf. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, after we go back, I lied. Never mind. They look at me.
They did. They saw you. And they don't give you a nod. They simply stare.
Cool. Sev will kind of pick up their pace a little bit and return their gaze to Calahan, as they follow Calahan back to the office.
Okay. Anything else from either of you before we get into 2-minute hate?
Nope.
I need conglomerate value tests from both of you. The 2-minute hate follows the same pattern as the first 2-minute hate, except this time, instead of there being 3 people, each from a different class, there are 27 people mixed up seemingly from different classes and different subdivisions within the classes. There is an aerial shot that seems to be from something like a very high drone or maybe a helicopter. There is a lot of production value in with regard to the lighting design for this. It feels like a high-end pep rally, a halftime show, right? There is a lot of bread and circus and pomp and circumstance and intermittently different members of the crowd are brought up as a matter of winning a contest, showing their patriotism, to be handed a gun by Big Brother and then execute one of these people at a time. And as that occurs, the speakers in this stadium-like environment are playing in between the music and sometimes with it sounds from all across Oceania of the 2 minutes hate riding across the stadium into the ears of these people as the last things that they hear before they die. What did you roll?
Because you mentioned music specifically, I think as Seven listens and watches and experiences the 2 minutes hate, it's they're trying to find just a modicum of solace, just a modicum of something calm to cling to in the face of all of this propaganda. And for them, it's it's whatever kind of anthem is playing in the background. They're trying really hard to focus in on that. And I failed my unity check. I rolled a 2, which is under my fear of the forbidden number. And so I am going to take a stress to succeed and push my apathy up by 1. As 7 like is mentally trying to focus on the music in the background of this broadcast.
The music is a song that was popular when 7 would have been a child, and was used for celebrations customarily. It was also played during children's programming at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Steve.
No, it's a little on the nose, but I think I'm rolling might is right, which needs to be below.
Oh, actually, so it has to be Conglomerate Unity for
okay.
For
Sorry.
2-minute hate. No worries, it's okay.
Right, loyalty. So below.
I mean, you can also roll a might is right, and nothing's stopping you from also doing a might is right.
If you feel that you need a might is right in the wake of this, which I can fully see you needing, you can do that separately. But technically, the one for 2-minute hate, failing or succeeding, is that, and then a separate personal value test can also occur.
Okay, that is a success on Conglomerate loyalty. It is a rolled a 3 on fear, which beats my target by 1.
So you will bump up what?
Anger is going up.
Okay.
Then, yeah, I think might is right is definitely getting tested today.
Okay.
Which I think I'm gonna have to agree.
Yeah, you can both.
I gotta roll under. I'll say guilt, which I succeeded at. So I'm pushing up fear to a 5.
Yep. I needed to roll below guilt, and I did. I think it's also going to. I think it's going to fear.
Okay. You both succeeded at the 2-minute hate, which means that both Calahan and Sev lose themselves in the rage and frustration of the crowd, finding themselves screaming out their rage at the enemies of Big Brother. You've already answered the question, does this challenge any of their values? Unless you think there's anything else, we then would move to leisure.
Seven, as the workday closes, 7 is going to turn to Calahan, and make very deliberate eye contact, and say, "It has been a pleasure working with you. I hope to be stationed here again."
He extends a hand, gives you a handshake.
7 hangs on just a smidge longer to the hand. Like, there's like a normal length of time one would handshake, and then Sev just kind of holds a smidge longer before letting go.
Yeah. when you do, the receipt from lunch is in your hand. In a perfect world, it might be like folded into an origami kind of thing, but Calahan doesn't know how to do that, but you can tell that he tried.
Is that a hide something from Calahan?
I mean, I suppose technically it certainly could be perceived that way.
Do you have any stress for Calahan?
Just one.
Okay. Do you report this, Sev?
It's just a receipt, to my knowledge. So, no.
What is the origami meant to look like?
In my head, in a different world, it might be a swan, but I think in this world and through Calahan's eyes, it's more abstract than anything.
May I offer? It looks
Yeah.
slightly more like a paper airplane than a swan. Like you missed some of the steps along the way.
Okay.
And so instead of looking like like with the little like neck, it's just kind of flat.
Yeah. That works.
Sev was gonna ask about it. Sev is not gonna say anything verbally to acknowledge the receipt of this receipt. And is going to turn around to face the door and will knock over some pencils or pens or something off the edge and go, "My apologies," and will bend over to pick them up and will slide this receipt into their shoe as they go to pick up these items from the floor.
It is also a hide something, I imagine?
Yes.
All right. And all of this is happening at or just outside of your workstation?
It's still in the office, I believe.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
The door is still shut on this office door.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'll put the the pens that I've knocked over back on the counter, and say, "Well, goodbye."
Your hearing is arguably at least a little bit stronger than it would have been prior to your volunteering to serve. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Probably just like maybe not stronger, just more calibrated, easier for me to pick up on when I am hearing something.
And differentiate sounds.
Mm-hmm.
When you are putting the pens back, you hear a scurrying in the walls.
In the walls? In the walls? Pin in that. We're coming back to that one. Ain't the what? Okay. I think my head like in the way that a dog responds to a squirrel. I'm going to look very rapidly in the direction of wherever this scurrying is coming from. Just.
Are you using an act?
Am I using an act? Hold on. I need to roll a stress for the hide something.
Yes, please.
That was a 2.
For example,
yeah, I'll use it. We have 6 acts in our leisure, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I'm going to search for something. I'm going to look for whatever the shit made that sound.
I mean, the tough answer there is that it is improbable if you want to find exactly what made that sound.
Look, that's fine with me. 7 would still absolutely look for it. And that dice just vanished into the ether. I guess I'll find it later. So that's what, a D20?
Yeah.
This is the worst time for this dice to roll a nat 20. This is the literal worst time for this dice to roll a nat 20.
So
oh my god.
As a reminder for the audience, when you roll a 1
for this dice
on search for something, you find exactly what you're searching for. If you get a 2 or a 3, you find something that might be converted into what you were searching for. If you roll the highest number available on the die you are rolling, something goes wrong. All of the results, you did not find what you were searching for. So literally anything other than a 20. There was a 5% chance of this. When your head turns in that direction, a high-pitched sound emanates from not that spot in the wall. Seemingly every other direction around you. Calahan, you don't hear this.
Joy.
Only Sev hears this.
Joyous day.
It hits you with a blistering pain, blinding. You can determine how your body responds to this, but a person would be forgiven for doubling over with pain and vomiting from the intensity of the pain. And you're going to take an injury, which is going to add a stress until you get looked at again, and it is going to be a critical injury.
Oh boy. Joy. Okay, cool. Does that still only bump my stress up by 1, or does that bump it up by
Still
4?
only bumps it up by 1, but if you let it hang out for a while, it can kill you. So
okay, cool.
You have to roll stuff for it. So if you don't want to find out more about that, what you would do is go get it treated and then get it, like go somewhere and then get it treated would be the move.
Mm-hmm. I think the way this visually plays out is Sev's head pivots to look at where the scurrying may have come from, and then it's like a wall has just smacked them in the face, and they hit the ground, I think. And Calahan, you watch as Sev is kind of on all fours on the ground, wincing at the initial kind of hit, and then after a moment, like, kind of staggers back up to their feet, clearly very, not distracted, but like clearly very affected by whatever just happened, and will kind of look up at you and say, I must head home. and will immediately try to like leave. Like right now, like we just I did two things and now I'm like, ah shit, I gotta go deal with this. So I'm gonna so that was two, and then I'm gonna go somewhere to go. Hold on. I'm gonna go home. And then I'm going to try to hide the thing in my shoe in my apartment. And then I'm going to wind down. And those are going to be my remaining actions for the leisure time.
So you will complete this day cycle not having treated this critical injury.
What mechanically, what is the consequence
So
for making it to the next morning?
This will be the first time that we do that, so I'm going to double check that and come back to you. But at the very least, you're going to need to mark a tick on the critical injury. Let me look up the rest of this. Calahan, or Steve, you look like Calahan might have something.
He's certainly very, very concerned. Has no idea what just happened, and I think was.
Oh, I see what's happening.
About to see about calling some help if it's necessary, but it seems to be leaving under their own power. I think he figures he'll check in tomorrow morning and see how they're doing. Mm-hmm.
So here's the answer. If you reach 4 notches, which you gain a notch at every morning phase. So if it's not treated by the end of this, you would gain a notch mechanically at the beginning of the next morning that we meet you. Okay. It remains critical, and once you hit 4 of them, your character risks dying from their untreated wounds. You have to do a survival roll. So you have to roll your current stress die. If you roll a 1, you die.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, currently I have a critical injury note, and there are 0 notches. At the sleep cycle, I will add 1 notch. Yes. When this has 4 notches, I then begin to roll my stress die for whether or not I survive.
Whatever your current stress level
Whatever
is.
My current stress die is.
Yeah.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, I can go home, sleep, wake up, and then go deal with the illness. And
yes.
It's not like an immediate I am dead now kind of situation. Cool. That's what
it could take longer than that. But what I will say is that the level of the narrative, for as long as it goes untreated, it needs to be impacting what you do and how you're able to do it. But that is up to you, like how to interpret that.
I mean, I think the way that Seven is thinking about this is clearly they're just malfunctioning again. We'll deal with it in the morning. Whoever was trying to fix me this morning messed up. That's fine. Don't worry about it. I have to get whatever's in my shoe out of my shoe in a place that's not going to result in me getting immediately vaporized. So Seven will stumble home, visibly impacted, and then will attempt to hide the thing in their shoe. We'll say they're trying to hide it. They'll try to hide it with the stuff that with the note from 4.
Okay. So you are going to need to give me stress rolls for all three of those actions. The go home, hide something, wind down mix there.
And that's a D6 now. So
yes, if you're at 3, then yes. The 3 including the stress from that injury you just took, correct?
yes. Actually,
it's a D4, right?
I'm at a stress level higher than that.
Yeah.
I forgot to log the stress from the Unity test earlier.
So
it's actually
so it's a D4. You are going to be able to bring it back down to 3 when you wind down, not getting rid of the stress from the injury, but getting rid of one of the others. But for these 3, you need to roll a D4 on each of them, please.
Okay. 2, 3. Forbidden number.
Okay. That works.
And then that'll put my stress back at 3, correct?
That will put your stress back at 3.
Okay. For the hide something.
Yes.
I don't need to roll anything to hide this,
not.
correct?
Nope.
Okay.
You just do it.
Then yeah, 7 collapses into bed. And just kind of like lays there wincing in their own pain as like these I'd like to think it the way that it kind of manifests is like these waves of like static, but like more intense than it's like the feeling you get when you drink really carbonated soda times 10 through their whole body, originating from where their main circuitry is near their ears, and it's just like the pulse of a migraine, and they just kind of lay there experiencing it until they drift into unconsciousness.
Okay. And for Calahan?
I know that only 7 heard the noise originally. If I'm looking, listening, examining the spot they seemed to be looking at, is there anything remotely perceptible to me?
Are you looking to notice something? Actually, you're searching for something also, right? Improbable, same thing, D20. If you want to try to figure out, if you want to try to find what they were looking for.
Well, I don't have a better suggestion. I'm not necessarily looking for like the ultimate cause, just some idea of what the hell just happened here. And my D20s are hiding from me. There's one.
This D20 notoriously hates me, Fish, the person. As has been displayed by the actions of it today.
So to the best of my knowledge, this is the first and second time that either of us has rolled a D20. This is also a 20.
Oh my god! We're gonna die! Both of us are going to die! Jesus Christ. There's only so many ways you can make looking vaguely at a wall go wrong.
This is what Calahan gets for taking an interest in other people's discomfort.
Okay. You hear the sound of a picture being snapped. would you like to do?
I'm not sure he thinks that there's anything that he can do about that. He's heading home. He doesn't know what else to do. Takes a bit of a walk, but ultimately it's headed home.
You go home. Do you need to? You're at 0 stress or 1 stress. You don't have to roll anything. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. When you get home, on the pillow of your bed where you lay your head, there is a photo from your childhood. You're there. There is a cutout to the side of it where your brother Thomas once was. There's a note next to it. It says, "Behave. Curiosity killed the cat." And there's a smiley face signing it. Above table, as we're entering the sleep phase, I don't know if you want to wind down or something at home. You still are able to do that if you want. Do you want to do that?
I think he tries to.
Mechanically, you can.
Yeah, mechanically it doesn't matter. But I think narratively he tries to, and winding down is just not something that's coming.
As you're looking at the picture and the note, you hear a scurrying in the walls also, and I am going to call for a good think test before we move to the sleep phase.
Okay. Of guilt or sadness. Whoa. Okay, I need to roll above guilt or sadness, both of which are 5s. Think in this moment, guilt probably fits better. That's a 6.
Okay. What are you bumping up?
Anger, I think.
Okay. Does that bring you to the end of leisure as well?
Yeah.
Okay. We are in the sleep phase. For clarity, above table, Thomas was interrogated and vaporized. Please remove him from your sheet. If you'd like, before Thomas Waters becomes a banned word officially, would you like to tell us something about him?
I think he was the most decent person in Calahan's life.
And now he never existed at all. We are in the sleep phase. Both of you receive commendations for your work this day. Both of you are up for promotion. There's nowhere for you to be promoted, Calahan. You already are first among equals. You may take another class act. Sev, you can be promoted to a Conglomerate official and take a class act at that level, or deny the opportunity to be promoted, which will be noted, and take another class act at level 2 bureaucrat. I will say this will be resolved next time, but when Sev awakens, their place is trashed. As they slept, thought police came in, turned it upside down. And as violent as the search looks, you didn't hear a thing. Do you plan to take the promotion or another bureaucrat level 2 class act?
The thing I'm struggling with Seven right now is that this is the second time they're receiving, well, I guess technically the third time they're being put in a position where they could be promoted to Conglomerate official, but they declined it the previous 2 times because they don't feel they deserve it. Like, they don't feel they don't feel like it is their station. They were not made to tell people what to do. They were made to fulfill this role specifically. And I think Seven is struggling with the choice of, I could be quote unquote more important, or I could do this real good because I do this good. And I think Seven is going to decline the promotion and will instead take another bureaucrat level 2 class act.
Okay. Perfect. It's okay if you don't know what it is now. Whenever you do know, please let me know. Steve, same thing. If you don't know what Calahan is going to take as another Conglomerate official class act, that's okay. Just let me know when you know. Do you happen to know, or no? That's okay.
I think I'm going to take demote someone.
Okay. Interesting. I like that. Demote someone. And Steve, whenever you work out yours, just let me know.
Yeah,
have it before the next session. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just gonna say, the place being trashed, we can resolve that next time because I have so many things.
Yeah, that'll be a morning phase thing. I'm just letting you know from now that is a thing that occurs overnight, and that Sev wakes up to discover has happened because they did not hear it. Not a sound. Not the whole night. So, with that said, we are entering the de-rolling phase. I am no longer playing Big Brother. I am back to being Danny. You are not Calahan and Sev. You are Steve and Fish.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Pulling the pin out of the wall really quick. Yeah. In the walls!
Not
in the walls!
I will say this. I will say this. I don't remember off the top of my head right now whether or not you were both present for this, but not actually the first time that something's going on in the walls or the ceiling.
I was not there for that the first time. If there was a first time, this is the first time for me. What do you mean in the walls? Anyway, sorry. That was all. We're rolling
it's
now.
Okay. It's okay. I'm not Big Brother right now. It is not incumbent upon me to not like to be all mysterious about it. So I will say Kiosh has heard something in the ceiling of their home that they have also sought to find that they have not come to learn anything about yet.
I learned that if I look at it, it kills me. So
Okay, what you learned was there's a 5% chance that looking for it
my bad.
could lead to something going wrong, right? Which, as you saw, because both of you rolled a nat 20 somehow on those rolls.
Look, we all know, if any of y'all have seen me play and anything for Streaming Rainbow, I've used these same 2 dice sets. And as we all know, these 2 dice sets hate me, Fish, the person. They couldn't care less if my characters meet an untimely end tomorrow. They do, however, know exactly what the story needs. And right now, apparently, 7 needed to be disabled so that they could ransack their house. So, story beat.
And Calahan had to become an only child.
How are you actually? So that's technically the second step, right? We can do any of this that we want. We can do as little of it as we want. I know it's late. The first step is, okay, questions to help you get out of character, right? We've done a little bit of that with what we're talking about so far, but I think it'd be good for us to each do at least like one. The thing I've been saying to
I'd love to do the I don't like thing that we've been doing.
Please.
I think that's very effective.
Something you admire, would like to take with you, something you dislike and would like to leave behind about each of your characters, please, from tonight.
So for me, something I admire about 7, they're very observant. They're incredibly observant. I mean, like by design, but they are very constantly processing with their incoming inputs and their surroundings, both visual and auditory. And I really try to be an observant person in my life. I think it adds a lot to my ability to contribute to my life by knowing what's around me and being aware of what's around me and being aware of myself. And I would like to take that with me. What I would like to leave behind is Sev's insecurity, and Sev's lack of belief in themselves. They have turned down a Conglomerate official promotion 3 times now, because they don't feel like it's their position. And to kind of hammer it a little bit home with a little bit more real of an in-person example for me is I'm currently between positions for my capitalism survival job, and I have been for a long enough period of time that it started taking a mental toll on me. And one thing that I've noticed is that I have a tendency to not apply for jobs when I don't meet even one of the bullet points. And that's not the way that I should be approaching it, because I am good at what I do, and the worst they can tell me is no. And I need to have that little bit of belief in myself, and kind of in that way, 7's not even giving themselves the opportunity to see how they would do in a Conglomerate official position, because they just simply do not feel like they deserve it, and that's something I would like to leave behind. So,
Absolutely, I second that as your friend, Steve.
Calahan is not exactly doing a good job at selling the idea of Conglomerate officialdom. I think the thing that I admire is that even at his very lowest, Calahan still feels the urge to reach out. he is still very much a coward and very much living in his own privilege. But I think reaching out matters.
Yeah. And what would the two of you like to ask me for this section? Could be one each, or you could decide together, or however you want to do it.
I've been muted as I have been talking. Let's try that again.
So-
It's on page 138. I'm going to pull the question from the bottom of the left column that says, consider the moral framework or beliefs your character/characters adheres to in the game. How do they contrast with your own values? But in your case, Danny, it's like the societal shenanigans. Like how I guess this is the like this is just me basically like what do you, Danny the person, think about the society that you have created, kind of deal?
Well, first we have created, and that's not not an abdication of responsibility. Clarification for the folks watching at home that this is very much the evolving generative authoritarian state that we as a West Marches campaign have collectively created via the deviations that everybody's brought to bear, via the features of this kind of authoritarian state that have been inherited from you and Aleksey in the design of the game, and in some cases that have been added onto by me in ways that I'm allowed to do so as the Big Brother player, right? But it is very much that collaborative generative process. What do I think of it? It fucking sucks, right? Like it makes me real mad, and I don't like it. I think the part there's everything I don't like. That's why I'm doing it. My job is to be the things I don't like in the world in this game, so that you have the ability to do something with that, right? Present you with moral quandaries, large and small. The small often feel quite large on their own. In order to better understand the characters that you're playing and why they're doing them, and communicate specific things and have opportunities to reckon with specific things in there. I will say almost halfway through the main campaign, but not quite halfway through the main campaign, I'm already feeling what it is to have the relentlessness of this kind of authoritarianism exist. And I do think we all might start to. I might feel it a little more than everybody else, not just because I'm the one doing it, but because I'm the one who's at every table, right? Nobody else is at every table. I'm going to be interested to see how that relentlessness is met by people who collide with it directly. I have opinions that I won't fully share right now because I don't want to put a thumb on the scale for what you all might do. But I think we're going to see what happens a little bit, at least, as much as this system allows. When those who seek to have monopoly over power, and by that I mean violence and access to resources, which also is a form of violence when gated, when they play their hand so heavily. And that might display a bit about the fragility inherent to fascism and other forms of authoritarianism and autocracy.
Mm-hmm.
How it's not sustainable. Because in overplaying its hand, it engenders the exact thing it claims to not want. It takes that apathy from a 5 down to a 1. Every time. Right? I think a good example of that from tonight that is just fucking awful is the second 2-minute hate. Not that the first one was good, because that was also terrible. But the carnival of grotesquerie that I glossed over and nevertheless communicated. Woof, right? Like that shit is rough because it's real is the thing. That didn't just pop out of my brain because I put things together that are so wild and crazy. That popped out of my brain as a glossed over, somewhat sanitized version of not just what exists in, I don't know, the Testaments was something I had in my head, right? The sequel to The Handmaid's Tale. Don't know if y'all have ever read it. It's very good. Gives some insight into one of the main antagonists from The Handmaid's Tale, a woman who helps train the handmaids, Aunt Lydia. And it shows what Aunt Lydia did to survive and what Aunt Lydia had to survive. And I won't say more because I don't want to give spoilers on the Testaments. It really is very good, and I highly recommend people engage with it on its own terms. But yeah, there was stuff in there that definitely influenced what I did with that 2-minute hate. And there was also a lot of stuff just in actual history. Ancient history, modern history, everything in between. There is a genius for wanton cruelty in humanity that I despise. And that was a tiny hint of it, and it still felt like if we weren't at such a safe table, it could have easily been too much. And I'm sorry if any of it was too much. I was attempting to calibrate as best I could as I went through it. Formally speaking, from a story perspective, it felt as though there needed to be an escalation from the first 2-minute hate to the second 2-minute hate conceptually in the same theme of the day. And that's where I landed. And I landed there because I find it deeply objectionable. And we live in a world where that is what's happening. Without getting into anything too specifically paralleling what's actually happening right now in a 1-to-1, I saw an ad today for the World Cup that talked about defending the homeland and had Team USA players in it using the exact same terminology on purpose. They know what they're doing. As Nazi propaganda, let's say around 1936 Germany and the Olympics then, right? They did it on purpose, the reference to fuck with us, right? And those players didn't volunteer for that either. I didn't spotlight this because I was attending to table safety. I will be very careful how I say it right now because I don't want to trample on table safety while having a de-rolling conversation or in any way. If one extrapolates the reality of the situation that I described, it is quite likely that at least some of the people involved in committing those atrocities did so functionally under duress, not interested in doing it, not wanting to do it, not out of bloodlust, not because they enjoy it. They did it to survive. And maybe through that learned how to like it. Or if not like it, were traumatized by it in a way that made it easier for them to do it again. Because that is how it happens in real life. Right? That is what is done. To turn people into people capable of atrocities. That and the dehumanization side of it, which we have been exploring in mounting fashion within the scope of what is delineated by our boundaries at the table throughout the course of the campaign to date. But things grow, even as things stay the same, as the autocracy maintains a boot on the face of everyone. There is still a progression to what they do, an ebb and flow, and to the stories we tell. I think the hardest thing right now I was thinking about during this session is, how do I safely serve those needs and ensure that I'm doing what I need to do to keep it from simply being monotonous, or from pulling punches that would then do a disservice to what we're here to do, what we're here to explore, while making sure it really isn't too much, because you matter more than this. And so do I, right? And being on the delivering end doesn't inoculate me to feeling things about it, right? So yeah, I don't want to pull away from the tough stuff, given what we're here to do, because I don't want to give the actual monsters of this world a pass, right? This is what they actually do. We fucking hate it. We are here through story and art to combat it, and that does require some degree of confrontation. But that should never be at the expense of anybody else here. So I'm doing my best with that, and I hope it's okay. I hope I'm hitting a reasonable note. I'm not saying that looking for comfort. That is not your job. But that is honestly my answer, right? So I don't know if you want to ask me a second question, or if we want to go to the next section, or if we want to call it. Whatever might work well for you all is good for me.
Steve, did you have a question you wanted to ask?
Nothing specific. My brain is shutting down for spring cleaning.
Super fair.
I will say, you mentioned about people under duress.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about a meme that was going around a number of years ago, with a photograph from a Nazi rally in the 40s, with one guy in the middle of the crowd with his arms crossed, kind of doing the yeah, with a big caption saying, "Be this guy." Mm-hmm. And I remember how much that made my skin crawl. Yeah. Because it's okay to go to the Nazi rally in the first place, as long as you do it with ironic detachment.
Right. Well, and so I don't know the history of that guy,
duress, but I'm not sure I buy it.
Well, he's also I don't know that much about, like, off the top of my head at this hour, especially about that person. Yeah. But my understanding is there's some contention about who it is, because it could be two people, and it's actually turned into a bit of propaganda on its own. And that there is a chance, like, if it's one of those people, if I'm remembering correctly, then they were actually, like, it was compulsory for them to attend the rally. So that's why they were there. But it was, but they were actually, like, very anti-Nazi policies and all that. If it's the other person, if I'm remembering correctly, then they weren't against it. They were a card-carrying member of the Nazi party. They just had an issue with some carve-out, or they had an issue with it later, right? Or something like that. Again, I don't want to give spoilers for the Testaments, but there is some influence from the Testaments in what I was describing in terms of the under duress, right? Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that is that. What I will say is we can, for the sake of time, skip the share your feelings unless anybody needs it. You can always do that publicly here or privately, where we would typically get into does anyone have something you immediately want to get off your chest? I will say you did a little bit of that before, Fish, I think, with In the Walls.
In the walls!
Yeah. Most
Yeah.
intense moment would also be covered there. If y'all are, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's the burning desire, you know. The
Yeah.
in the walls.
If either of you would like to or feel a need to get into burning desire or most intense moment, you're welcome to. Otherwise, I think it might be good for the vibes here for us to just very briefly share good memories. I'll explain what that means, and then we can be off. I can explain what the note thing is, but you wouldn't do that now anyway.
Yeah, it's good with me.
Cool. Share good memories. Steve, are you okay with that as well?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Gas tank is getting low.
Yeah. So share good memories doesn't even have to happen now. I just want you to know what it is. It's not positive memories don't have to be happy memories for your characters. It's your personal experiences that are in focus. So this area is supposed to reminisce about enjoyable interactions, memorable scenes, successful outcomes. So, like, what's your favorite moment from the game and why? Was there a particular scene or interaction that stood out to you as especially fun or memorable? What are you proud of accomplishing during the game? So even if we don't do that right now, I just want you all to think about what you have to be proud of accomplishing during the game in particular. If there's anything else that sticks out in the other two directions, that's great too. But I want you to remember, as heavy as this is, I want to spotlight in conversation that as heavy as this is, you both did great work, and you have a lot to be proud of in that.
Yeah. I do have like a happiest moment for me, which is that moment when Sev looked at the drone and like, what's the difference between the two of us? It was the first moment that like Fish had really thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm partial to the existential crises. I enjoy sparking them in my own brain, and so I really kind of like that moment.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I loved it too.
I love managing to accomplish what I think all three of us have agreed was a successful, deep connection without a single word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also really fantastic. I don't know if I accomplished exactly what I wanted to in the game tonight, but I hope I did. And it just goes back to in terms of the most important thing I could accomplish, it would go back to the thing I mentioned before. I hope I did my part to help keep us all safe today. Right? That what we got into hit the right balance and achieved what we needed to without being at the expense of the people here. You know? And if I was able to do that, then that would be by far the best accomplishment that I could have. If you want to, after this, whenever you would want, you are invited to write a note, not as if it were from an in-game character to another in-game character, but considering what you would write on a hidden note to give a future finder a glimmer of hope and connection in the real world. And that would be the last step in de-rolling. And that is it for tonight. Thank you for tonight. It is quite late. I'm going to say goodnight on our behalf. And all of you watching this, we hope to see you soon. Stay safe. Do what you want to do with your lives. Spend time with your loved ones. And we will see you when we can.